What's going on, fellow humans and resellers? It's his James, RedemptionAgency.com, 23 years selling full-time on eBay, and also urban-picker.com, store number 2. What do I want to talk about today? I was kind of thinking about stress and reselling. Playing with the camera a little bit more. But anyway, now obviously, trying to create your own inventory or your own income is stressful, right? Especially if you're just starting out or you don't have something that's consistent. It can be stressful because you got responsibilities, right? You got your bills, you've got your family, you got just a lot rides on your shoulders. And just that alone can break people. That's why not everybody can do this. Not everybody can not necessarily resell, but just work for themselves. Because there's a lot of challenges. You're basically, if you don't have employees, you're one person with many hats. You're doing many jobs every day on top of your household, right? So it can be very tiring, tedious, stressful. Just want to give up, stop, quit, be done, go back, work a 9 to 5 just so you can have some peace in your life. And I was laying in bed this morning before I got up, just thinking about all this stuff, and realized I think within the last 3 days, I'm realizing, how it's hard to sometimes realize where you are until you're through it, or till you're past it, or till you're working your way out of it. Like, I feel for the past 3 days, and I mean, honestly, it's list easier is what's allowing me to think like this and kind of change my thought process. Because I feel like I was a good 10 years of my stress level being higher than the rest of my life. Just, I guess a lot started going on. I can't think back in about 2015 with Jan's health, and then my brother dying, and then moving my dad in, taking care of him, and then Pee Wee for the last year or so. So not only and the business has been kind of just a step above break even for me, right? So there's a lot of room for if something goes wrong, a lot of room for disaster. Not necessarily disaster, just a setback, right? So I always felt I had to do a certain amount of work every day on top of all my, take care duties, if you will, and house duties, and just whatever needed to be done. And I realized over the past few days how high my stress level has been for, I want to say, probably the whole 10 years, where I've just been riding this elevated line. And it's not really that I didn't notice, I guess. It's just, it's just what you had to do, basically, right? So you just go with it. You go with the flow, and you just get caught up into it. And the last 3 days, I'm finally actually starting to be able to look at things a little bit differently, and trying to bring that level down, back down to where it should be with me. Um, because even, during all this time, I would push myself to get, say 200 items listed every day, or at least that's what I aspired to do, but didn't do it every day on average. I probably averaged more like 100 every day. But the stressful part is knowing I had to do that, and if I had to, step away to do something else, then I put more pressure on myself. I started stressing myself out even more. Like, crap, I'm never going to get what I need to get done in a day. And you would see it. I mean, different people, depending on your personality, you see stress differently. Whether you clam up, you become short with other things, snappy, whatever the case may be. Personality, with stress, can make different people react different ways. But my making sure, like, I got up like, I have to get up at a certain time anyway, like, because of Pee Wee's meds, I'm up at least at minimum one time throughout the night, if not twice, and then I have to be up at 6 to make sure he gets his meds. So sleep was, getting an 8-hour sleep ain't happening. Getting a 7-hour sleep ain't happening. Getting a 6-hour sleep, if I'm very lucky, will happen maybe once every month. But so you throw fatigue on top of all that stuff, right? And it's not a recipe for any good picture of health, for anything, for your body, for relationships, for business. I mean, it can pull down everything in your life, if you're not careful, and if you're not aware and try to, make sure you keep it in check, like I've always tried to do. Which then I always put more pressure on myself because I couldn't at times keep it in check. If I snapped at, one of the dogs or something, just kind of raised my voice at him when there was really no reason to, other than the fact that I was feeling stressed or something, right? And then I feel bad for doing it. And then I give them all this attention for, and then there goes another 15, 20 minutes of my time. And then, so it's just a vicious downward cycle that you're just battling with yourself consistently. And since I started using AI, in this case List Easier, to get work done, it's starting to allow me to think differently and have a day without any stress, even though I'm still there. Like, it's like I'm only probably 3 good days in trying to lower that level, but I just keep wanting to go back up. Like, it's almost like a spring. Boing! Every time I try to breathe, and then boink, something will pull me back up. So right now it's like a constant battle to just relax, to chill. So I kind of want to make this video, I mean, more first off for me, because when I voice stuff, it registers with me more, right? Because I'm picturing it in my head, I'm going through scenarios, and I learn from myself by being vocal. And then if anybody else can benefit from it too, then bonus, right? So that's why I'm pausing a lot. I'm just thinking, processing what I'm saying. ever since I started, and I know this probably sounds like a commercial for List Easier, but it's about AI in general. And you could probably use this across any boards, not just for resellers, right? Just AI across the board for anybody who's doing their own thing. Sure, it may lay off a lot of people in some sectors, but if you're an entrepreneur and you got a small business or you're running something yourself, AI is going to be could not just be the difference between making more money, but being healthier, being less stressed. And right now, that's where my mindset is on it. Sure, I want to get more items up in my store, right? I want to make more money, sure. But I think right now I realized I'm in this de escalating phase, if you will. Like, for me, I'm always suspect when it comes to things that seem too good to be true, right? It's too good to be true, chances are it's not. So I'm still waiting for the bottom to drop out of AI, to for the bottom to drop out of resellers using um, AI listing tools, whatever the case may be. I'm just, you know, I'm waiting for it. I always expect the worst, but hope for the best, right? When I go into situations. And, but the more the time goes on, the more you start accepting things and realizing and understanding. And then I'll go back to my first instinct when all this came about with List Easier. And my first word, well, right, not my very first words, but my first insight on this was life changing. And Josh texted me, I guess it was last night, saying, James, I got to give you, what are you saying here? I'll give you exactly what he quoted here. Or I'll quote exactly what he said. Um, I have to give you credit for the phrase, James, list easier is life changing. And what does that mean? Does that mean, making, like I said, making more money? Does that mean less stress? Well, hopefully it means both. And right now, what I'm realizing is, as we go on, that this is going to be a thing. And there doesn't appear to be a bottom that's going to drop out unless you do something stupid or something. Or, you don't double check your work so you don't get, you know, freaking list things with the word Velcro in it and you get viral and get kicked off eBay, whatever, what I mean, self check type of stuff. But don't do anything that you shouldn't do, if you will. So the more time goes on, the more my mind's accepting that this is going to be reality. This is reality. And so what's allowing me to do is not be so hard on myself. It's allowing me to take a step back right now. And like I've noticed like my body just wore out, my mind just wore out, just tired, drained. So I am allowing myself to lay in bed longer, even if I am not going to fall back to sleep. Just lay there. Just enjoy my new cooling pillows I got for Father's Day and just snuggle in the blankets and the pillows and just lay there and take in and realize how comfortable I feel at that moment. And then also that's allowing my body to rest on top of it and my mind. Knowing I don't have to, look after anybody as thorough as I used to. With my dad not here, Jan's health still all right, still in remission and all that, and Pee Wee were like 5 months with no seizures, right? So it's allowing me to come down a level, but yet I still had that business thing of, well, I want to get so much done every day. And one of my problems is my mind wanders a lot. So if I stumble across something on YouTube or whatever, next thing I know, it's an hour and a half later. Oh wait, now I got to go to the bathroom. So then I'm on the toilet for 20 minutes pooping, and then, like, your day gets away from you. Oh, let me vacuum this hair up. Then it turns into vacuuming the whole house. It's very easy for your hours to get away from you. And at least with me, it's very hard to find that tunnel vision when I'm working and just go without something always distracting me. Whether that's, something as simple as the dogs need to go out or what have you, right? And then it takes me a while to get back into that. Like, I've always struggled with that. So what this I guess I'm just gonna call it, for lack of a better term, it's this de-escalating phase I'm in right now, because I know that I don't have to put pressure on myself anymore. I don't have to stress myself out anymore, because if the day gets away from me for whatever reasons, and it's, say, 4 p.m., and I'm like, crap, I haven't got nothing listed today. Before, I'm like, well, I'm never going to make 200 items today. Hell, I'm not even going to make 100 items today. But now I can, without any major, what's the proper term? Effort, without any major effort, because of AI. List easier in this case. And I just started realizing that a few days ago. So that's allowing somebody farted, I think it's Pee Wee. So it's allowing me to mentally relax a little bit more while I make myself physically relax a little bit more. So I want to take that stress level that I've just been at for probably like 10 years and just start de-escalating it. Because when I'm there, it's not that I will get less done or I'll get lazy, because I'm never the kind of person who could sit around and do nothing. Never. Like if somebody said, hey, come sit by a campfire or sit on the beach, or like, I would go nuts. I can't do that. I'll go hiking on the beach, or, let's walk the beach. I'll go hiking in the woods, but like, I can't just sit and do nothing. That's never been in my nature to be that person. And I don't want to ever become that person, because it almost feels like it would be a slippery slope. Like, you get to enjoy it a little too much, and then you become lazy, and blah, blah, blah. You just go down another spiral. So I think what it allows me to do is just not put so much stress on myself, which allows me to free up some mental, again, I don't know what you would call it, just instead of my mind going 50 miles an hour, it's slowed down so I can think better. I can be more creative. Maybe I can come up with new ideas, and I can do new things, and whatever the case may be. I think it's Josh there texting. But so instead of like pushing myself right now to go, okay, I want to get, the one day I got 500 items listed. Instead of saying I want to do that every day and keeping my level up high to make sure I do that, I'm not changing anything, right? The only thing I might be changing is the income. Like, I'm not changing the fact that I'm still stressing myself out. I still got a goal to meet while I'm doing everything else. So I kind of want to take advantage to de-escalate my stress level, because when I do get there, doing 500 it wouldn't be stressful. It would just be with ease, and I wouldn't have to do it every day. Well, guess what? I only got 300 up today. Well, that's still 3 times better than on a stressful day prior to AI, where I was pressuring myself and I had a stressful day and I only got 100 listed that day. Well, if my bad day is only listing even 200, I doubled my stressful day. Let's take advantage of that right now. So for these, and I don't know how long it's going to last. I don't know if, is it a week? Is it 2 weeks? Is it a month? Is it 2 months? How long is it going to take me to bring myself back down, bring myself to even keel, however you want to look at it? I don't know what that answer is, but I also want to keep myself in check to make sure that I'm still advancing forward. I'm just not doing it in a stressful situation because there's no need to. Like I said, if it's 4 o'clock and I've got nothing listed, there's no stress right now to list 100 items. I'll do that in the next hour and no problem. So if I got somewhere to be at 5 o'clock and 5:30 and I haven't freaking started listing until 4, it's not a stressful thing anymore. Okay, I'll do that and I'm done for the day. I could not only am I done, would be done for the day, I'd be done early for the day, and I still got more done than before AI on my stressful days. So I am trying to, I am making sure I'm aware of all these little things, because that's how my mind will de-escalate itself. If it keeps getting the same information over and over again, then my mind believes it. And then it's pretty much life as a whole. They always say you put something out into the universe, you're going to get it, type of thing. Well, the way I always looked at it, it's not necessarily the universe, but it's also a mentality too, because, people who don't do anything don't get breaks. They don't get the stuff they wanted to achieve. But if you work harder and you're working towards something and you have a mindset that gets you there, then that to me is putting it out in the universe and the universe giving you what you wanted. You're putting in that effort and that thought process, that subconscious thought process, to make those steps attainable. And so that's what I'm pulling through in my head now, is just making sure that on those days I pound it into my head that this is the way it is, this is what's happening, and then my levels will drop, and I'll be able to do things better, handle things better, and like I said, be more open-minded, creative, because a lot goes on in my head when I have like no stress. I mean, not just in my head, but there's a lot of weird stuff when it comes to energy in this universe that I have no clue about, don't understand, that goes on with me when it comes to like predictions and stuff like that. But I have to be in a totally like relaxed, mental, stress-free mindset in order to feel all that. And I haven't really felt that kind of stuff, whatever you want to call it, in a very long time. So that's how I always know like my stress level's higher when it comes to, like just things aren't flowing properly. And I know that's like kind of, I know I'm always skeptical about talking about weird kind of stuff like that because there's so many, um, it's, it's hard to believe for a lot of people because everybody's always, I mean, a lot of societies, stress levels are so high they can't understand that or feel it themselves. So there's a lot of disbelief when it comes to like energies and premonitions and things like that. And then there's also a lot of fakers and hoaxes out there who try to, take people for money for that kind of stuff, mediums and all that kind of stuff, right? You don't know who to trust, and is this stuff even real type. There's a lot of skepticism out there about that kind of stuff. And like, I don't consider myself any of that. I just know something weird goes on, and I have premonitions and things like that. Where it comes from or what it is, I have no clue, and I'm not going to act like I know, and I'm not going to try to take advantage of it for monetary purposes or anything like that, right? Because it's something that I don't understand personally. I just roll with it. But being in that mind frame brings so much more than just things like that. It's just, um, more smiles, more laughter, more, bad jokes, more creativity. Uh, you're just a lot more mentally free. And so that's what I'm using right now for the next unforeseeable weeks. I'm using AI to de-escalate myself while still doing more work than I was during the stress days. I mean, that within itself sounds so unbelievable, yet it's a consistent reality. And yeah, so that's where I am. So I just wanted to talk about, how stressful all this can be and how AI, one way or another, is going to help you uh, be better. Whether that's be a better business person, be a better person, period, be a happier person, be a more carefree person, be a more freer person. Um, it's it's life changing. So I want to make sure that when I say it's life changing, I want to make sure that that's what it does. It changes my life. So, all right, enough for me. This is my Friday, so on the weekends I get to do whatever I want to do. So I'm not sure what I'm going to list and what I'm going to do today, but I'm just going to let it flow. Let yourself go. Slow and low. That is the tempo. Because it's the weekend. And for those wondering about List Easier, again, there's no date on it. They're still updating things. I did do some stuff outside of my CD category. I did some jackets yesterday, and it pulled up perfect titles. I had to change very little in the titles of the jackets. Now, I didn't expect that. I'm used to the Chat GPT where I just put up one picture, right? And then I have to add some information in like sizes and stuff. Where with List Easier, it takes information from all the pictures. And I'm sure Chat GPT probably does that too, but it doesn't do it in a nice, convenient way if I'm doing like 10 of them, right? Because you can only do 10 pictures at one time on Chat GPT. Well, I had 10 jackets with 5+ pictures of each jacket, uploaded them all. Less than a minute later, I had perfect titles. And since the clothing category is not complete yet, I just took those titles and created eBay drafts with them instead of using ChatGPT drafts. So even though the category is not fully done yet, it's pulling in the information spot on and perfect. So they haven't had nobody test the clothing yet. So that was kind of their first feedback on how the clothing reacts. So yes, that's probably my most asked question is, does it work on clothes? And now I know firsthand, 100%, without a doubt, it works beautiful. It works better than ChatGPT on clothes because it can take it from several pictures. So yeah, after I saw that, I got next level excited. Today I'm going to try just other oddball stuff and do it that way. Instead of using ChatGPT, I'm just going to use List Easier, and the categories that aren't done, I'm just going to copy and paste into a draft and be done with it like that. So yeah, having fun with it. So I mean, it's, and some of the new upgrades that have come out with it, it just gets me more and more excited every time something happens with it. So it's going to be worth the wait, and especially for price wise, if you're using the other one that's out there, you can only do so much without it breaking the bank. It's definitely going to be worth the wait. So all right, let me see what Josh texted, and I am out of here. Going to get back to work and figure out what I want to do today. I think I'm just going to play with the List Easier and just different oddball stuff and see, how it does. Because then that's more information I can feed onto you guys and get you excited about it. Awesome. All right. Life changing. 100%. All right. Thanks, everybody.